Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the WolfPack podcast. And tonight, I'm sorry, uh, I'm sorry, we're gonna be reviewing Star. Logan, please take it from here.
Today we're going to be reviewing Corey's Insane, for one, and we are going to be reviewing an episode of Rebels called Empire Day. Now, we've got a couple of our co-hosts here. We have Corey, who can't do the intro for some reason.
I literally, and I don't know why this just happened. I
Got a
think
case of the giggles.
We have Dan.
Hello, everybody. I am not giggling, so I can't wait to talk about this episode. It was quite fun.
And we have Marco.
Yo.
yeah, my apologies on that.
Stuff
Those are
happens.
the giggles of pissed offness when my computer decided to freeze up as I'm hitting start broadcast.
Oh, that's good.
That's what happens. All right, I apologize for that.
This
Yeah,
is
like
what happened. This is the show. You're used to it.
yeah. If you know us, then you should know by now that there will always be giggles.
Mhm.
So tonight we're going to be reviewing, like Logan said, Star Wars Rebels Empire Day. Wow, what an episode! What an episode!
And did we lose him?
And I cut out. Sorry.
Yep.
Um.
Internet problems are going to be very apparent in this one because Corey's having internet problems. I'm having problems. This is going to go very smoothly, I'm sure.
Didn't you guys have problems last night?
Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah. So this episode was entitled Empire Day, and honestly, this has got to be one of one of the best Star Wars Rebels episode I think to date, because we got a lot of character development. We got a lot of
It was very plot heavy.
Very plot heavy. Yeah. We got. I have the first shot of the episode. I believe this is Vizago's ship that we're seeing here, and we did actually interview Keith Sarabaika, who voices Vizago. I'm currently editing that, so that will be up probably this Friday. So, stay tuned for that. But let's talk about, I think, the key points in this episode. I mean, I think what we'll do before we talk about the episode is I want to show something that just came out yesterday, and I was supposed to show this yesterday, but my power went out as I was trying to come on to do the show, and that's why we had to cancel it. But Clone Wars Season 6 on Blu-ray came out, and the DVD. I already reviewed it on the WolfPack. If you guys want to know about this, go watch my review on it. Yeah. Also, I've managed to get some Star Wars Rebels figures. Actually, they're all behind me, the Rebels set. But these are small card backs. I know, Marco, you also got them. So,
Yep.
Hey, Corey.
yes.
You've got a full case of Star Wars Rebels. Does your Darth Vader and Snowtrooper still have the Rebels logo on it, even though they're not in? There seems to be a point of confusion. Yes, they do. So we were all thinking maybe Hasbro would fix this by the time they came out. Every photographed sample that I've seen lately, nope, they forgot to fix it.
No, so there's a reason why it says Rebels. It was Yoda's News interviewed them, and the reasoning behind this is Hasbro puts the Rebels logo under any character that is going to be in Rebels. So Vader has already been in Rebels, so we know that he's in it, and that's why the banner is there. Now, I think the most exciting thing about that Rebels logo being on the Snowtrooper is we have not yet seen him in the show. So I think that's almost confirmation that we're going to go to an icy planet at some point. Or
Hasbro lied.
Or that, you know what? I'm going to go with that one, because I think that's the more likely thing here. So as you'll notice, Luke is not in Rebels because it does not say Rebels. Now, that does not mean he's not going to appear in it at some point. It's just, I think as of right now, he's not in it.
I don't think Luke Skywalker is going to appear in Rebels, at least not in that outfit.
Not in that outfit.
No, of course not. That would be very weird. But, of course, and the weird thing is Obi-Wan appeared in Rebels, and we don't have a Rebels logo. Obviously, this is Clone Wars Obi-Wan. But then again, this is Episode 5 Vader's. I don't know.
Who knows?
I know that the Obi-Wan, I think it's because it's Clone Wars, but it was a different era, so it makes sense that...
I think we just need to not overthink it and move on. Let's talk about the show.
I agree. Let's do
Sorry
that.
for the distraction.
Let's talk about the show.
Empire Day.
Empire Day. I don't know what's up with me tonight, but it's a pretty, like we said, character-driven episode, very heavy episode. We get to learn a lot about Ezra's past. But, you know, the episode begins where we see Kanan and Ezra training. And, you know, we really get to see what exactly, you know, Ezra thinks about the training. And we have this shot right here where Sabine takes off her helmet and is just kind of looking straight towards them, which is cool. And then, of course, I don't know if this is supposed to be a hint towards she likes Ezra or what's going on here.
Oh, my God. Let's...
But you never know. Of course, yeah, so they're using the Force, and Kanan is teaching Ezra to control it. Obviously, this is something that has been kind of hard for Ezra to do, and we've seen that in the past episodes. But, yeah, here you see Ezra force pushing, or no, Kanan is force pushing the rock, and Ezra's trying to grab it, but it didn't work. What do you guys think about the dynamic between the two?
I thought it was pretty interesting how Ezra was, you know, really distracted on this particular day of training.
Mm-hmm. Right, agreed. And then, you know, we get the Dave Filoni cat right here.
Love it.
Oh, yeah.
That thing is adorable, and I want to
Was
flush.
that Miko or something like that, right? What's his name?
I'm not
Doesn't
sure.
matter.
So, yeah, he attacks Ezra because the rock hits him right in the face. And then Kanan is teaching... I'm getting the hiccups. Kanan is teaching Ezra...
Aww.
to control him, and
He becomes one with the Force and one connected to other living creatures. So he's sort of affecting this creature and calming him down.
right.
All happy and smile until the creature sees a few TIE fighters fly overhead.
Right, yeah. So here we got a shot of
There we go. As if on cue.
Oh yeah. We have Ezra and Kanan running towards the TIE fighters. That there is a very little town just flat in the middle of the desert right there, just right there. I don't think that's all of Lothal, but it's definitely, you know, a portion of it. And so
that scene just looks great, though. You gotta admit, it just looks incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Okay, so here's something we need to talk about.
Yes, a crumb bomber.
Yeah.
Glad you brought this up.
Remember, this is not the first time we have seen this particular gunship, especially with the design. This gunship was in the Clone Wars. Specifically, Obi-Wan Kenobi's battalion, the 212th, flew in this specific gunship. So it could definitely be hinting towards in the Clone Wars they did come to this planet at some point. You know, and we didn't see it, but I definitely think it's really cool that, you know, we keep on getting these homages to Clone Wars. Especially because of what's coming in this episode. Even at the bottom here, the table that's being used as a table is actually an Old Republic hologram thing. And this particular cantina, I believe, it has a lot to do with the Clone Wars. Especially
it's a Clone Wars themed cantina. You know, they have different themes.
Right. So obviously, Kanan and Ezra make their way in there. Very A New Hope-like cantina without all the aliens, obviously. But, you know, they see all the TIE fighter pilots, those TIE fighter pilots look brilliant. I mean, the level of detail that's put into these guys is really phenomenal, and they just look very cool.
I like how the aliens, I know I've said this before, I like how the aliens in this show are made up of Rhodians, Aqualish, and Ithorians. So Hammerhead, Walrusman, and, well, Greedo characters from the old Kenner days. We haven't seen a Snivian, Snaggletooth character yet, have we?
I can't recall seeing
So
one.
I look forward to that.
Right, and just to give you, you know, a look at the helmet, just look how awesome that looks. That's, wow.
That looks really cool.
It definitely is. I'm looking forward to the figure when it comes out in 2020. But and then here is what the Empire is after. They're looking for a Rhodian, a name. What was his name again?
Sibo, was that it?
Sibo, yes. Sibo was his name.
Well, all Rhodian characters, their names end with an O, right?
Mm-hmm.
Greedo, Beto, Sibo. I think in the Marvel comics there was a character called Cheeto.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Bring it back.
yeah. I even created a character called Badu one time. It's a Rhodian Jedi Knight.
There is one Rhodian that does not have the name in Clone Wars.
Probably.
In Clone Wars, Onaka Far.
Oh, yes.
So,
Oh, there was a Jedi Rhodian, too, that if I remember, that was killed. I'm sure he had a couple. Oh, no, but wait. Padme called him Uncle Ono.
yeah. You're right.
Wow.
He goes, Ono! Yeah, see?
My mind is blown.
I don't know why I remembered that.
I don't know how you remember that either.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that myself.
So there you go. This is Thorian. He likes to talk to his translator box. I thought that was clever.
Oh, absolutely. I want to talk about this. The clone
What could
helmet.
you be referring to?
The clone helmet. The clone helmet. This. Yep. Okay. Again, this is our second homage to our second homage to Clone Wars in this episode so far. As seen a animated clone helmet. I have no idea what you just said, but
nothing.
I will re-listen to it and find out. It is a Phase 1 animated clone helmet, which is cool to see.
And it looks awesome.
Now, that's also the time period where we saw the Crumb Bomber, right? Wasn't that flown during the Phase 1 Clone Trooper days?
Yes.
So in the beginning of the series, when they still had those helmets.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
We're going where I think you're going, buddy. That's an important note.
Yes. Yep, you know where I'm going to go. So moving on, they have to turn on the Imperial HoloNet or else the Imperials... apparently it's a law, I think. I'm assuming it was a law. And then, of course, we get another drop-by from this guy right here, the senator in exile, and he's telling everybody to boycott Empire Day. So,
now Ezra starts moping about because he doesn't like Empire Day.
No, and we learn exactly why very, very soon. So, moving on, Ezra needs, Sabine is talking about how they're going to blow up a lot of the vehicles in Empire Day, and Ezra says he needs to be alone, so he goes back to his tower, and, he opens this little thing up, which has a lot to do with his family. He senses through the Force his mom calling his name, and, I'm almost wondering if that really was her, and he senses it, and he doesn't know it yet, but he definitely knows something's up.
Mm.
And then we hear his dad. I've been criticized a lot for saying this, but D. Bradley Baker came back, and to make another homage to Clone Wars, hey, let's bring in the clone himself. Well, the guy who voices the clone. Clones, yeah, of course. Wow. D. Bradley Baker, who of course voiced all the clone troopers in Clone Wars, and basically what happened was, you hear Ezra's dad, and I get where people are coming from, where they're saying it's. At first, when he talks, it sounds just like a clone.
I will agree with that because that's what I thought when you had explained the theory to me previously.
Right, and then he kind of breaks into more of an American accent, which isn't that far from a clone, but you can definitely tell the difference.
Afterwards, I didn't think he sounded anything like a clone.
Right. But remember, everybody, Lucasfilm is known for doing stuff like this, where we think something is going to happen, and they alter it a bit so that your mind is thinking, is that what's actually going to happen? For instance, when we saw a clip from Clone Wars Season 5, when Anakin, the Ahsoka arc, Anakin is holding 2 green lightsabers to make it look like he's about to kill Ahsoka with her lightsaber. And then he slashes it, and it cuts to Ahsoka. Okay, it was really a blue lightsaber in the final episode, because of course that was Barriss Offee's episode. Lucasfilm is known to putting little hints like this throughout the series to throw us off. to make us think. Now, this is a far stretch. This could be an entrance point to bring Captain Rex into the Clone Wars, and it doesn't have to be Rex.
What?
It could be any clone trooper. You know, Echo, we know, survived. Cody's still out there. Wolf is still out.
It could be a clone trooper we don't even know about yet. Or who's had a minor
If in fact
appearance.
a clone, I think it's probably a generic clone. We've seen a few of these. From time to time, some of them have defected. Some of them have lost their memory. If it is in fact supposed to be a clone, we never saw anything. We just heard a voice.
Mm-hmm.
Right, absolutely.
It's all speculation based on the voice, but he did sound like a clone at first. I can support that. That sounded like it at first, but as it went on...
I still like my idea that Rex becomes the new Boba Fett, so I'm going to stick with that until proven otherwise.
What if... Okay, this is a major... I'm not even going to say this because this just sounds...
Save it.
But I feel like I should say it anyways. Okay.
No.
No, I'm not actually going to say it. I'll tell you guys after.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So, remember Cut LaQuaine from
Yep.
Season 2, I believe? He was a deserter, a clone deserter, and he had his own family. It was always stated in the Clone Wars throughout the episodes that we saw that Rex would leave the army. Like, you know, it started with that episode. It showed that he started thinking about, you know...
They're questioning his orders.
Right. Then we got the Umbara arc, and you really see him start to question what he thinks is right and wrong, especially at the end where he says to Fives, you know, what's going to happen to us when this war is done? You know, are they going to just cast us off? And then I think where it really hit him is when Fives was murdered. I think that's where he probably started really thinking about it and thinking if it was worth him, you know, going that way. I mean, if Clone Wars wasn't canceled, that's where I think he was going to go. I think he was going to eventually leave the army. We do know that he was written through Season 8. We know he was going to be in Season 8. A lot of people say that it can't be Rex can't be Ezra's dad because the timing wouldn't make sense. No, it wouldn't make sense at all, timing-wise, but we don't really know what Rex was up to in that Season 8. We don't really know. So I don't think we can really say that that couldn't be a possibility because we don't know what he was up to in Season 7 or 8. No matter what anybody wrote about them, you know, I know he had an episode with R2-D2 in Season 8. Okay, that doesn't mean anything.
Whatever was planned for those characters, there's nothing officially revealed or announced yet about Rex after the Clone Wars. What are these? The Lost missions.
Right.
We don't know. Yeah.
And also remember that, you know, Dave said that it's possible that Echo's still alive. Obviously, we know that, you know, again, that's not canon. So Echo at this point is not alive. If you get what I'm saying, we didn't officially see it happen on screen. So that does not necessarily mean he is alive. But yeah, look, this is just speculation. I know a lot of people are getting upset over this. This is just speculation. Don't even
beat up Corey for it. It's just speculation.
Right. I don't even believe it myself that that's what's going to happen. But it's just something to think about just for fun. Just, you know, because I bet you I'm going to be wrong. But if I'm right, oh yeah. So we'll have to see.
All right. Well, you know, let's just wait and see exactly. I'm sure there'll be a lot of cool surprises in Star Wars Rebels that have nothing to do with clones, and that's good.
That is good because it's its own thing, which is great. You know, which I think is awesome. So again, I don't think we need to see a whole bunch of clones, you know, necessarily in it, but I think that it would be cool, you know, if.
It's always fun to speculate.
Oh, no.
It's always fun to speculate. Part of being a Star Wars fan is that you pick up these little clues and you kind of start to connect the dots. Whether you're right or wrong, that's part of the fun. And, you know, hey, why not? Let's just keep doing that.
Mm-hmm. I gotta agree.
Yeah. And, you know, who knows? Maybe there will be a comic book or a novel or something released along the way that will be considered canon, and that will give us some more background information about what Rex did after the war, what Cody did after the war, what Wolf did after the war. You know, who knows? Maybe they just stayed with the Empire and took over, and that's fine. At least now
I'd
we'll
like
know.
to see all of it. Like, yeah, I'd like to see some stay with the Empire. I'd like to see some break off, and I'd love to see some even maybe become rebels. Who knows?
Or maybe
There's a lot of
the new
options.
Boba Fett.
Maybe the new Boba Fett. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of things they could do, and I really hope they explore it at some point.
Now, did you guys? I thought Ezra was going to build his lightsaber in this scene for some reason because he had
Wow,
like
hold on,
the
because this is the first part of a at least 2-part episode.
Because he had all the parts there, and I was like, come on.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Mark. I was like, oh my god, is he gonna make it?
I think they did it like later in the episode too, where he like sat down by a bunch of parts again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
So after he gets through going through his tower, which apparently nobody else knows where it is, this big giant tower in the middle of a field, he comes back to the town, and there's Empire Day Parade going on, or Empire Day presentation, with the rolling out of the new vehicle, which is kind of cool because that's the new TIE Advanced, which is not the Darth Vader's TIE Advanced that we see in Episode 4. So this is like, I guess, a prototype of that. I'm not really sure the timing of this, but this is the vehicle that is the Inquisitor's, or soon to be, I guess, the Inquisitor's flagship.
And it's going to be flown by a recurring character, that TIE fighter pilot, Baron Roder.
I keep wanting to call him Baron Fell, even though I know it's wrong. But
I know, right?
He's got the red stripes, right?
He's got the red stripes. I think it might be some sort of callback to that character.
Well,
which...
maybe like the early days, you know, like the red stripes mean something, and that was kind of a nice nod. I thought that was interesting. Yeah, so he'll be the special pilot, but however, the ship got blown up. And yet it appeared later, so I was kind of curious about that.
I'm assuming they might have multiple prototypes. That was just the display one, you know.
Yeah.
Got a couple more in the back, you know.
And we saw a lot more of the troop transports in this episode, which was cool. A lot more TIE fighters, which was cool. The speeder bike pilots that are in the white and gray outfits, apparently, if they have dark gray outfits, they pilot the Imperial troop transports. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah, Corey had actually caught that in, I think, the first episode we saw them, that they were
same
darker.
uniform, same design, just different colors. That's kind of...
Yeah, it's very basic, which I kind of like. It's not very flashy.
I think having the Inquisitor show up, Callus shows up. I mean, all of the Imperials that we've seen so far in this episode, in this series, they all showed up for Empire Day. Obviously, I mean that makes sense. I thought that was kind of interesting because here's a chance for the Rebels to really just kind of wipe this whole thing out, and they didn't really seize that opportunity.
They did cause a bit of a fuss, though, with
they did.
With the fireworks distracting everyone. While it was Kanan, right, who went around the back and placed detonators around the prototype. I did actually like that moment with Ezra trying to get to save him from the Imperials, essentially.
Yeah, and he's like, "Woo, Empire Day, woohoo!"
He sounded like the drunk dad, you know. Woo, Empire
I think he
Day.
had fun with that episode.
Yeah, that was good. Then they blow up the TIE fighters.
Yes.
And
then Zeb comes around, sees Callus, and says, "All right, now I want to get that guy." And Kanan's like, "No, take out the Inquisitor. He's the bigger villain."
Yeah.
So I like that. Now Dan's gone. Corey, help!
Our computer wants us to quit. I am so serious.
You guys must be laughing. Everyone who's watching this must just be dying of laughter.
Gosh, I always think about what people think when stuff like that happens. Like.
Anyway.
And I dropped out now.
So basically, what happened was I was trying to talk, and my computer said no, and
All hell broke loose.
yes, but I was listening to what you guys were saying, and I want before we talk about what we were going to talk about, I totally saw where Marco was coming from when Ezra was going to like almost build his lightsaber. That is coming up super soon, so it's going to be in the next 4 weeks. I know that. So
sometime around Christmas-ish.
before Christmas, yeah. It's because what's going on is the Disney Store. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this. Never mind.
Let's just say other Padawans might be able to build their own lightsabers around the same time Ezra does.
Yes.
Ooh, I think I know. Anyway, so Ezra then takes his crew. If we pick up where I think we left off, Ezra takes everybody back to where I guess he grew up. Is that what the house was? The condemned building that he has the magic key card to get in.
Yeah, magic key card.
Well, what is it? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, so he gets in there and
no, there's the Inquisitor.
Yeah, he's kind of striding like he always does.
Now, do you remember when Filoni was talking about this guy? He said when the Inquisitor shows up, everybody's going to be afraid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's happening. They're using him sparingly. He's not like in every episode, and when he comes up, there's a lot of great action going on.
Dude,
look how deadly that guy looks.
Not to even mention the voice acting, from Jason Isaacs is incredible with this. It's freaking amazing. I have to say, it's just, the amount of evil he puts in that voice. You put him up against, somebody like, let's say, even Callus is menacing. They're both the perfect evil duo. They both have that fair share of menace to them, which I think is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it is cool to see them working together. This girl needs to go though.
She's back. That guy that looks like he's dead, that Imperial guy, he was back.
Gosh, I'm so annoyed seeing him now that you said that. I cannot stand him.
The big fat Imperial guy, he was back. I mean, yeah everybody was here.
Right. So here's Ezra's place. He uses the magic key card to get in and to go into his house, and that's when they realize that Ezra's parents were not killed, but they were there for a certain amount of time, and they were taken away. Ezra reveals that. So.
Yes, and then they find Mr. O.
He is the special Rodian.
He's Lobot.
Yes, that's exactly what I said when I saw him. He's Lobot Greedo.
What if Lobot and Greedo had a kid? This is what would happen.
Yep, that's probably what would happen.
Let's move on. That was disturbing.
Yeah, it's a bit. So Ezra needs some alone time, and he goes in under like this tunnel thing in his house.
Hold the phone here for a second. I want to mention something.
Okay.
This card that he's holding, this was something I remember hunting down in the Star Wars Dark Forces game.
Really?
Dark Forces 2, Jedi Knight. I remember playing as Kyle Katarn, hunting down, looking for that actual data chip thing that you had secrets on it. So this is something they're using from the original expanded universe, which I don't know if anybody else really caught that, but I was like, oh, that looks like the same thing. Yeah, so that was cool.
I hadn't seen that yet. That's really cool. And then, he hears his dad again, and he hears Sobo and Sibo. And he hears his mom again, so obviously, we're going to be seeing them again, hands down.
Well, he's hearing it through the Force. So now he's getting in sort of like a Quinlan Voss vibe where he could sense memories, if you will, by touching the objects.
Right. So
I
here
what they call it for Voss, but that's kind of what Ezra seems to be doing here.
Yeah, same deal pretty much.
Yeah.
And here Sabina's looking at this panel, and this is where all the secrets are. You can see that they're building vehicles, and we're seeing a lot of old fan favorite vehicles. Here's the AT-AT. Just a lot of cool.
TIE Bomber, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, TIE Bomber, and here's the return of the ATDP drivers, which not ATDP, the troop transport drivers.
Yes, while you were busy doing whatever computer technical difficulties you were having, Logan and I were talking about how these guys are the same armor as the speeder bike pilots. So if you're light gray and white, you drive a speeder bike. If you're dark gray, you drive a transport. I thought that was kind of neat.
I hope Hasbro makes this, guys. I'm sure they will, but and the Rebels steal the troop transport, and we also get the huge reveal that as it's Ezra's birthday, Empire Day. So he's officially 15 in the show now. He started out as 14, so he's 15 now. So, I mean, I would imagine the course from Rebels when it started to now must be a few months. What I think is funny is how everybody, Zeb and everybody seems to be walking through the crowd and nobody notices them, even though, they're high-profile
right.
Criminals.
And it's not like they're in disguise.
No.
They're hanging out at the bar, and it's you walk in, it's like, okay, there's a Rhodian, there's an Aqualish, there's a Hammerhead, and then there's the Rebels that we're hunting for.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only people in the bar.
That's right. I thought this scene was awesome. Kanan against Callus, just very cool to see. Of course, they all escape to the Ghost with our friend, the Greedo dude, which I keep on forgetting his name. But one really cool thing I know me and Marco absolutely dig this helmet is the Inquisitor's helmet, finally. What'd you think of it, Marco?
This? Cool. Is Marco back?
Yeah.
It looks like a knight.
He does.
Kind of reminds me of like, you remember the original Battlestar Galactica, the Cylons?
Yeah.
So there were 3 of those guys in a pilot, but the way they're sitting back with all the lights behind them and everything, it reminds me of the interior of a Cylon Raider. And that's a good thing to be reminded of, because that was a cool thing.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
And then here, of course, is the speeder bike.
So, on this particular planet, their highways go on for miles and miles and miles in a straight line.
Mm-hmm. Apparently.
Anybody else find that weird?
I didn't think about that until now. You're right. It's never-ending traffic.
It's like the freeway goes this direction, and that's it. So if you ever want to put a roadblock to stop people, instead of chasing them, maybe you could put that in. I don't know.
Right. Do you notice how there's just like this random dead pilot just right on top of the speeder? I didn't notice that till now.
Yeah, he caught him maybe. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, he's just face flat, Oh my gosh. And then of course the Greedo dude wakes. Oh god. You say his name and I'll just talk about him.
Debo comes back to sanity for a brief moment.
Right, and he says, "I know," and Sabine translate what he's saying, and he says that he knows what happened to Ezra's parents. And what do you know? What do you know when we hit the 22 mark? Oh yeah, you know what that means. First arc in the show.
To be continued.
Yeah, this is our first arc in Star Wars Rebels, which I think is really cool, kind of following what the Clone Wars did, and just very cool that we're going to see a continuation of a story,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Logan, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry. Tech issues. I could only hear like every other thing you guys were saying. So that doesn't really work for a conversation.
Obviously.
Every other word was not important, so don't worry.
But yeah, it was overall, I rate this episode a straight 10 out of 10. Didn't have any problems with it, to be honest. I think it was fluent throughout the entire episode. The freeway thing was a little weird, now that you mentioned that. But
well, I mean, I remember that from the movie, right? So that was an ongoing thing where they're chasing down. But it was kind of like, this is our first introduction to that, so that's cool. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Imperials being on this planet for a while, you might have some kind of like automatic roadblock, maybe that pops up from the ground, or maybe ships that fly by that blow up the road. Because if you're off the road, you're just gonna fly on the ground, right?
You would think, yeah.
I don't know. I just found it funny when I was watching it. I'm like, this road goes nowhere
Yes, it's a
for
never
a
end.
really long time.
And the only two flaws I would say in the episode would be that and the whole point with, and this is just nitpicking at this point. I don't care, honestly. I don't care. But I just thought it was kind of odd how Zeb is kind of just like, this big guy is walking through the crowds, of Empire Day, and nobody really notices him. But I don't know. Overall, I love the episode. I love the direction Rebels is going. This is the 6th episode of Rebels, which means we have, I think, like 12 episodes. Okay, we have 10 episodes left of Rebels until the season finale. So,
I was gonna say, this is a shorter season.
yeah, this is a 16-episode season, not including the movie. The movie is a standalone, so pretty much we're getting about 17 episodes.
One thing I also really liked about this episode, which we haven't mentioned yet, is Chopper, when he was using his awesome shooting skills, stuck out his arms and did one of these.
Oh, Chopper. And I've said this on the show, and I will say
I thought that was a cute moment.
Yeah, Chopper, I love Chopper. You guys know that I like Chopper more than R2. So,
What?
I dropped that bombshell on our Taylor Gray interview.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Though as much as I love R2, don't get me wrong, I've always loved R2, but I like what Chopper brings to the table that's different than your regular droids. Like, he's tough, he doesn't care what anybody thinks. That's what I like. It's like it's a new type of droid.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it. So, yeah,
Cool.
Anybody have anything else to add?
I just wanted to say, 10 out of 10. Amazing episode. I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys can get all your Star Wars Rebels goodies and merchandise from our sponsor, Beyond Mortality Toys. They have them all for $6. I think they're running, pretty sure they are running a free shipping deal. So you can get any Rebels figure, $6, free shipping. Why not? So go check out Beyond Mortality Toys for the latest action figures. Star Wars Rebels Black Series, 6-inch, anything you can imagine. And thank you all for listening to another episode of the WolfPack Podcast. My apologies for the giggles at the beginning.
And the technical difficulties in the middle.
The technical difficulties made me laugh because I'm so sick of it. So, thank you all for watching, and may the Force be with you.
Later.